And here today we are here to learn about Microsoft Excel. We have a couple of minutes. So this is a software. Let's go learn a little bit about the type of this software. This is a spreadsheet software. So what is a spreadsheet software? A software where you can record a lot of data. You can do a lot of processing. You can calculate with different tools here. You can apply formulas. You can create charts, basically representing a data in a very easier way. In older times, people used to work with calculators. People used to write it down on any paper and calculate them from there manually. It would take a lot of time. That's why when we were very small, we saw at the time of our father or mother, we saw that there are so many people in the accounts department. But now there are very less number of people required because the software does a lot of work. It preserves a lot of data. It can work with a lot of data. That makes it very, very easier to preserve. And the best part is that you can add automation to it, like anything that you have set one time, it can be automatically calculated by the computer itself. You just have to put in the data and the data will be automatically calculated. The easiest example that you can get for this type of software use is in the super shop. If you look in super shop, when you go there, when you are in the billing department, or when you are showing all the products that I want to take this, they will start using a barcode scanner, and they are going to scan a code from each of the products. And you will see almost instantly when they recognize that code, the product name is on the screen, the value has been added. They, after they give the quantity, it's automatically multiplied. Like you have bought 5 items of say 100 taka, it is automatically calculated up to 500 taka. The VAT is there, the discount is there. If there's any sort of data that needs to be there, it's there, and it's done automatically. That person is just scanning the data, that's it. It's, they are not doing anything. So who is actually doing all these things, like recognizing a product, putting up the price, calculating it, calculating the total thing, even to the lowest paisa, if we may say. And the whole calculation and everything is making it so much easier for even anyone to understand. Doesn't matter if you are a small kid, if you are an old person, or if you are just don't know how to calculate properly. It's in front of you, on the screen you can see it, and it's all done automatically. And you can trust the computer if the computer doesn't make any mistake. The problem with human being is that we get biased. Computer cannot get biased unless you have put a wrong instruction. It will never do anything, any mistake. So technically, since there will be no human error, it will be always correct. But still, again, you can always go through the values again to just to understand that if it's if everything is correct or not. Because again, the computer may not do the mistake, but whoever is putting the data might make a mistake, which can lead to the computer. Anyway, so long story short, the reason for using this sort of software is to do the calculation more accurately in a faster way and reducing the work of human being. Like we don't have to do that much of a work now. So this is the class number 1 of Microsoft Excel, learning the basics. So in order to learn the basic thing, first we need to learn what are these grid lines and everything. So when you open this spreadsheet software, in this case Microsoft Excel, you see there are boxes everywhere. There's a lot of boxes. If you look at a blank worksheet, there are just box and box. Each of these box, they are considered or named as cell. They are called a cell. And this cell that we see, there are 2 type of cell which we are using, which has values. They are called active cells, like this one. Currently I'm only using this one, so this is an active cell. And the one which is not being used or doesn't have any value, they are all the inactive cells. All right. So we are going to use the active cells to do our work. So I have kept a work here that will help out if we get to, let's see how much we can finish today. So each of this box, they have a name. They don't have, technically it's called a cell reference, but we can also say it as cell name. All right, each of these box has, each one of them has a name. So how do we name them? But before that, understanding how to name it, we have to understand what are these alphabets are and what are these numbers. So this combining these alphabets and these numbers, we can identify a particular cell. So these are called column, the vertical one that you are seeing, the vertically placed data, and the horizontal one, these are called row. All right, column and row. And combining these two, how do I name a particular box or particular cell? It goes something like this. That suppose I have selected this cell, this one. Let me highlight it. All right. So suppose I'm have set this cell. So how do I name it? So first will be the column, then will be the row. So if the name goes something like, so it's under which column? Each column. And it's on which row? 6th row. So the name of this particular cell is H6. We can see it at the top left corner as well, H6, which are representing this particular cell. All right. So just like that, we can name any of the boxes that we can see here. Okay. Tamanna Miss, can you tell me what is the name of this box? What do you think? Can you name this box that I have shown you? Tamanna Miss, are you there? Okay, probably Miss is not here. So anyone else who can name it? Anyone? It's open question. Can you name the cell that I have highlighted here? Who can do it? It's like playing a games.
E11.
E11. That's correct. Asmain sir, bonus 5. All right. Tapor, Fidus sir, or anyone. Okay, let's keep it open. Can anyone name what is this cell?
S5.
H5. What about this cell? Can tell this one?
G11.
G11. All right. Thank you. সবার জন্য 10 marks bonus. Great. And
স্যার এগুলো না করে আপনি একটা লজেন্স দিলে তো ভালো হতো। মার্কস দিয়ে কি হবে স্যার?
মার্কস দিয়ে তো হবে জমান আস্তে আস্তে, ওগুলো দিয়ে আস্তে আস্তে চারা থেকে গাছ হবে, গাছ থেকে ফল হবে, বৃষ্টির দিনে পরে আম কাঁঠাল খাবেন। Alhamdulillah, everyone is well, everyone is doing great. So anyway, let's continue this cell. So we're going to use this cell in order to apply the formula. Let's go to that later, but first we understood how to name the cells. Now before working, first we need to do one thing with all these data that is given here. First we need to make sure the data are ready to be used, and in order to make them ready to be used, first we need to make sure that where the data is put here. So first look at this data. We can easily see something is missing here, right? The data are not readable, right? And here we can see something is also missing probably here. We can see here, but we don't know what's happened here, right? So step number 1 of formatting or making sure the data is ready to be used is make the data readable. So how do I do it? In order to do that, wherever the data cannot be seen, go to the top of that column, and before the next column there's a expansion button. All right, expansion point. If you go there, if you take your mouse there, it will turn into this expansion symbol where you can either compress it or you can expand it. So just select it and put it as much as you require and release it, and it will automatically adjust itself. Or you can just do one thing, you can double click it, it will automatically adjust itself. So you can do it manually. Suppose if you want a little bit more space, you can just drag it more as much as you want. So just like that, or just keep double clicking all the columns so that it is expanded and all the data are visible. So I did it for this one as well, and now we can see a number. So for a text, we see half of the text, but for a number, we see this hashtag symbol. Why is that? The thing is, if you see part of the text, it doesn't make any sense. If you see this PRI, you see it doesn't make any sense. But if you see a part of a number, it does make sense. Like if you see 2 digits of this 100, it will show as 10. That does make sense, right? That's why if you use the same procedure, they say that the text will be half shown. If you show the number, it will create a chaos, because people will think that is the number. They will not understand there's a hidden number or hidden digit there. So in order to make sure, they have added this hashtag symbol, so that if anytime if you are working with Excel and you see that data cannot be read properly and there's a hashtag symbol, you will understand the numbers need a little bit more space to show itself. So again, just double clicking it to make it visible for everyone to see. So that is step number 1, that is done. So I have made all the data readable. Now I can read all the data, nothing is hidden here. Next is highlight the titles. Now out of all this data, main data are these, right? These top ones are not data, they are title, which is representing what sort of data is below it. All right. So product names, it means that these data are different products. This is quantity. It means that these are the number of products that has been sold or bought, right? And this is price, and this is new price that we might get to solve this class. Anyway, so we are going to highlight the title. So we can highlight the title in many way. Like we can just select them and click the bold button, it will highlight it. Or we can just increase the size a little bit, we can do that. We can add a color to the text, that will also highlight it. Highlighting and separating a particular data so that other data doesn't impact on it, has any impact on it. So for this one, I can add a highlight color, permanent highlight color, that can also be done. So 4 different kind of highlight. You can even add more types of designs or styles to highlight a particular portion. So let me undo it and let's keep one style, because this is distracting. Each one of them, if each one of them has different kind of formatting or highlight, that will create a little bit of distraction for all of it. So in order to avoid it, let me select the column row number 1, and let me make it a little bit bolder, and let me increase the size of it a little bit. All right, so here it is. So now it's a little bit more highlighted. Now instantly looking at the data, you can understand which is what are the titles and what are the data. So step number 2, highlighting the titles is also done. Let's go for the number 3, adding currency. So this is a very vital one. This is something which creates a lot of chaos if you don't do it properly. So usually the students go for UK curriculum where the currency pound is being used. So we are going to stick with that here as well. So where first let's understand where the currency will be added. This on this price, right? And this price, because we cannot, we should not add currency to the quantity or name, right? It is usually used in any sort of place where value of money is given, right? So here, how to add the currency symbol? It's very easy. I can just select the particular cell, and if I go to the top of it, there's a number portion where this dollar symbol is given. So if let's just practice it. If I click on this dollar, automatically the dollar will be symbol will be here with couple of decimal points, because a dollar has a smaller version, right? That is cent. Like our taka has paisa as a smaller quantity. So these two currency decimal was added. We can remove them as well. We can add more as well. Anyway, so no, we are not looking for dollar, right? We are looking for pound. So how to do that? So not by not clicking on the dollar sign, there's a small button beside it. That's a downward arrow. If you click on it, and if you click on this pound, this is the pound, which will separate symbol for it. All right. So another thing we can do is, rather doing this again and again, like there are 4 data, I have to do it 4 times. I can just simply select the column and I can add the pound symbol over there, and it will do automatically add pound symbol to all the particular cells. That is much more easier. And here we can add more symbols here as well. Like let's click on this particular column, and from here I can add that pound, but here you will see, notice there's no number or currency given. Since there is no number, they're not giving in currency. If you want to check, you can just write down any particular data and check if it's working or not. And there you go. See, the pound is automatically added. Doesn't matter what sort of value you add, automatically the pound symbol will be added. So that's how you add a particular currency to a particular column. Now the currency is added, that portion is done, and the last thing, we have 3 minutes, so we can hopefully no, we have more than that, I guess. So we can also add the add the borders to the data. Usually borders helps us to identify a particular portion of it, or seeing that if there's any kind of data, which are the active cells. I talked at the beginning, right? There's active cells and there's inactive cells. The active cells are the one which has all the values and everything. The inactive cells are the blank one that doesn't actually has any sort of value. So let's show all the valid cells or the active cells. So how to add border? Look at the font tab. There's the border button. So if you look, click on the small button beside it, and from there click on all border. it will add border to the data. Now if you, even if you zoom out, you can instantly understand where our data are, where everything is, and how can we use it and all right. So more or less that will be all of the lesson that we are going to go for today. All right, anyone has any question, please ask me. If you have any queries, if you have any question regarding today's class, or should I ask you? What do you think? We have 1 minute left. Anyone has any queries regarding this? I guess not. In that case, your task will be, before the next class, you should learn how to use Microsoft Excel or the spreadsheet software, at least how to the basics of it, and how to apply the basic formatting to each of the cells to make it readable. Now it's completely ready for anyone to use. Suppose if there's data which is um, lacks any sort of formatting, it will be hard for people to use it properly. All right. And if you use the formatting properly, the data are so much easy for anyone to understand, apply the formula or work with. This is something that is more applicable for anyone who is working in the accounts department, or whoever is doing. I use this for my any sort of calculation that I need. I usually use it. I also have it on my smartphone. This has an Android version that helps me as well. So with that, that will be all for today.